Welcome to Office Hours Live, everyone, the weekly show where we teach people how to plan, launch, and grow a business that provides you with freedom, independence, and purpose. Whether you're starting from zero or scaling to six figures and beyond, whether you sell products or services online or offline, this show is all about growing profitable business based on what we call service at scale. We combine the traditional service-based model with the tools and technology at our fingertips today. I'm going to answer your most pressing questions about clients, entrepreneurship, lifestyle, and anything else that's stopping you from taking your business to that next level. I want to extend a special welcome to my students at freelancingfreedom.com who are tuning in today. And with that said, I'm your host, Brad Hussey, a marketing expert, business consultant, and educator with more than 400,000 international students. I help aspiring entrepreneurs like you take back their freedom and independence by teaching them and giving them the tools for launching a profitable consulting business at freelancingfreedom.com. If you want your questions answered, just add them to the comments section and we'll get to them throughout the show. Don't forget to subscribe, and if you're on YouTube, hit the little notification bell to stay in the loop for new content and when we go live with our office hours. We've got some great material lined up for you today, so make sure you take some notes, you bring your questions, grab yourself a water, coffee, or a whiskey, and we're going to get started here in just a moment. All right, everybody. Hey, how's it going? Hope you like that little intro I put together. I realize that I am saying the same thing over and over every week, and I thought, why don't I just make like a bumper intro with a cool video so I could just save myself the talking, and it gives me a little extra time to prepare. So, hey, everyone. Happy Thursday. Welcome to Office Hours Live. We took the last 2 weeks off because I was on a vacation. Fun story, actually. So we went out to Vancouver Island. We did a big road trip, and Vancouver Island is an island. So it means you need to take a ferry to get to the island. And on the way back from when we finished the trip a few days ago, I was on the ferry, and the captain or whatever said, "Okay, everybody, get to your vehicles. We're about to go to port, and so get in your vehicles, get ready to get off the boat." And so anyway, walking down to, the level that we were on, and I saw this guy just ahead of me as I was walking towards him, and I recognized his face, and he was like, "Brad?" And I was like, "Chad?" And craziest thing, Chad, one of the students from Freelancing Freedom for years, like he was one of the original students in the original Freelancing Freedom course, was on the same ferry as me, and we ran into each other. So unfortunately, we didn't have any time to chat because we had to get to our vehicles. He was going to his motorcycle. I was going to my truck. And so we shook hands, and I said, "I'm sorry we can't chat. It would have been awesome," because we were on the same boat for like the last 90 minutes. But yeah, we ran into each other. It was so cool to see him. Never really saw that happening. Running into somebody in such an unusual place on a boat, on a ferry out in Vancouver Island, way on the west coast. So thought that was really cool. Anyway, yeah, I'm back from vacation now. I'm kind of recovering. We did a big road trip, and so we did a lot of sitting, and I did a lot of driving, and I'm sore. I've got a headache. We did like a 17-hour drive in one go. So I'm kind of paying for that now in soreness, and I've got a headache. I got to go to the chiropractor and all that sort of stuff. So I might be a little bit lower energy today. I'll try and perk myself up, but forgive me if I'm a little bit lower than usual. But we have a good topic today, so hopefully the topic and the material carries us through rather than my energy. So just want to say hi to everyone here. Mildred, Raj, Deeson, how's it going? Alea, good to see ya. Seya, we got Hafsa, Monique. I think I said Monique twice. No, Monique, how's it going? Mark, Brandy, Bailey. This is great. Good to see you guys. Welcome. We got about almost 20 people watching us right now. So feel free to say hello, introduce yourself. Don't be shy. We are live, and so I'm here to answer your questions and be of value and of service to you today. Today's topic is crafting a minimum viable service, MVS, also known as minimum viable product, MVP. Lots of different ways of explaining it. Within Freelancing Freedom, we call it the minimum viable solution because it kind of applies to whether it's a service or a product, a gadget, an app, software, consulting, a minimum viable solution. So we're going to be talking about that today. And if you have any questions at all regarding the MVS and whatever we talk about today, throw them in the comments there. We will flag them and I'll see them in my dashboard here. And I'll get to your questions near the end and possibly throughout if it's relevant to the topic at hand. So let me just bring up my handy dandy sidebar. So creating your minimum viable solution. So there's three major points that I want to talk about with the minimum viable solution. And that's the target audience, the MVS, and triple threat technique. Those are the top categories we're going to be discussing, and they're going to carry us through. So let's jump in, and we're going to talk about the target audience portion here. So this is a common situation that new business owners, entrepreneurs, aspiring entrepreneurs have. They have this new awesome business idea. They go, oh, what a great business idea. This is such a good idea. I'm going to go for it. They got bitten by the entrepreneur bug, by the business bug, and they want to set out and be independent and do their own thing. And that's awesome. But what happens is they go off of what feels good. They got a good idea. They think, oh yeah, I would love that. So therefore everybody else would love it. Or I'm really good at this, so I need to start a business in that. And then they just put the sign on the door, metaphorically speaking, sometimes literally speaking, and eventually or quickly, soon after, the business fails. And I see that in the city that I'm in. We will see a new business pop up. They'll just literally pop up out of nowhere. And Laura and I, we kind of have this thing, we chat where we kind of like, we have this, we jokingly say, but also seriously say, we need to start up like a, before you start your business, talk to us. So we can, and I literally do this as my business. I help you guys, with your business ideas and everything. So it is legitimate, but we say like, we need to start up like a local thing that says, before you start your business, give us a call and we will tell you if you should kill the idea altogether or how you need to tweak it moving forward. Because we see it all the time. People basically just go, I'm really passionate about this and I want to start a business, so I'm going to start a business. And then they go get the loan, they get the shop, they get the branding, put the sign on the door, nobody shows up, and then they get eaten alive and then they have to close the doors. And that's sad. That sucks. And I don't want that for you. I don't want that for anyone who wants to start a business and solve problems for people and be independent and provide for their families. I want you to do it right. And so why is it that some ideas, products, and services work and succeed while others don't? Sorry, I'm just going to turn on the heat in the room. Chill. Just a sec. Okay. So why is it that some products, services, businesses fail and others succeed? Well, there's a number of things, but that's what we're going to be talking about today with the minimum viable service. And in this topic specifically, the target audience. A big thing is that a lot of people don't know who their target audience is. This term is thrown around, target audience, your target market, your tribe, your audience, those are the kind of the target market, target audience, the people whom you wish to serve. This is a big component that people just miss altogether. They gloss over it and they just think, well, my service is for everyone or my product is for everyone. And obviously that's not the right way to go about it. Because if you think that your service, your product, your solution is for everyone, well, effectively it's for no one. Because if you're talking to everyone, you're speaking to everyone, no one's listening. Funny how that works. You think that when you're in a big room, you've got a big crowd around, and you just start speaking, everyone's going to listen, right? No, it doesn't work that way. You need to have the ear of one person, quite literally. because that one person should be the type of person that you want to serve, the type of person for which your business exists. That one person. Because obviously it's not just going to be one person. You're not going to be so super niched down that only one person is who your business is for. That one person represents, that target represents a broader audience. And the better you can serve that one person, the better that's going to have a broadcasting effect. It's going to have an effect outside of them, and that will start to become infectious. So if your target audience is one very, very specific person, you have a literal person in mind, their name, their business, everything about them. So you're speaking to them, that's going to have an effect outside of them. So here's an example. The 4-Hour Work Week by Tim Ferriss. Everybody knows that book. He wrote that book for specifically wealthy Silicon Valley men who are in their 30s to 40s, have a lot of money, and they are overworked. They are burnt out. It's classic Silicon Valley culture. They've got a lot of money, but what they are missing is freedom, flexibility. They've got all this money, but they have no time, flexibility to enjoy it. So he wrote the 4-Hour Work Week for guys like him in Silicon Valley with a lot of money and no time and freedom. How can they create that freedom in this 4-hour work week? And so he wrote it for literally that person himself, essentially. And obviously it's become an international massive success, and everyone from, stay-at-home parents to, small business owners, mom and pop shops, young men and women, older, retired professionals, all sorts of people, not his target audience. It never was intended to be his target audience. But he said that when he chose the one person who his audience was for, he literally wrote the book for one person. He had a guy in mind. He was writing it for whomever the name was, literally for that person. It had this broadcasting effect to other folks like him. And then beyond that, it had such an effect that other people who were not the target audience were able to extract immense value from it. So you might think choosing a target audience means that you're excluding people and you're missing out on money. Yes, you are excluding people, and you want to do that because you can't serve everybody. You shouldn't think that you can. Your goal, after all, is to start a small, profitable business. You're not going to be able to do that by saying my services are for everyone, because nobody will care. But if you say my services are for this person, Seth Godin puts it like this: we do. How does he say it? Oh, I'm gonna butcher it anyway. He says, we do things like this for people like us. So that implies there are people not like us, and they must be excluded. Not saying that if somebody outside of your target market wants to do business with you and sees how your solutions can help them, you're going to say no, but you're just not targeting everyone, a generic audience. You're targeting a specific person. Alea says you're going to burn out trying to serve everyone because everyone's different. Everyone has got their own thing. Everyone's got their own way of communicating. Everyone's got their own problems. And if you're just saying, I'm a web designer and I'm open for business for anyone, well, then nobody cares. But if you say, I help stay-at-home moms have both a professional career and the amazing blessing of being able to raise my kids at the same time, then yeah, someone like a single guy who's who's working in Silicon Valley and has no kids, it's not going to be for him, and that's okay. Because if you're trying to speak to him and this other person, it's going to be really watered down and generic, and no one's going to care. No one's going to listen. You'll have the ear of nobody. So your target audience, you need to determine who that is. And so the way you can do that is by first looking at yourself, like Tim Ferriss did. He said, well, I'm going to solve my own problem. I'm going to scratch my own itch, and then find a specific person who I'm going to write for, solve the problem for. Demographics, so why do products and services and businesses fail while others succeed? Well, it's because they know the target audience, they know the demographics, they know the problems that they're solving. And there are also other components to this. So if you know your target audience, who you're trying to serve, that's good. It doesn't. Now, if you have each of these components, it doesn't mean you are going to be a success. You can have all three of these components. So who you wish to serve, how you wish to serve them, the problem that you're going to solve. So I like to use the formula of your target audience, the problem, and the solution. So those three components of the formula, you can have all three of those in place and still fail, because you can have a target audience, but maybe that target audience, the demographic of that group, maybe they don't have cash flow. Maybe they don't have profit within it. Maybe it's not a viable target demographic. Maybe they don't really have a problem. You're like, I really like people who train horses. You're like, okay, that's great. What's their problem? I'm like, well, they don't really. I've interviewed a lot of people, and there's no real through line of a problem that needs to be solved. But I'm going to go through with it anyway and open up a business that serves them. And you're like, well, they don't have a problem that needs to be solved, so you're wasting your time. That's going to fail. Let's say, okay, the problem. Let's say you have a problem. You got your target audience. You dialed it in. It's working. Contractors, people who build homes, and then you found a problem. You think there's a problem in there, but you didn't quite choose the right problem. It wasn't painful enough. So you say, I've opened up for business and I'm going to help you do X. And then that target audience goes, that's great, but I don't actually have that problem. Or, yeah, I can just do that myself. I'm not going to give you money to do that for me. And now your solution, you can have a solution in place and then find out that your solution doesn't actually solve the problem, or your solution isn't valuable enough. So you need to play with that, your target audience, the formula for your business. Who are you serving? What's the problem they experience? And how are you going to solve it? And all those need to be at high value. They need to all be viable. So you need to choose an audience who's going to give you money to solve a problem. You need to find a problem that's painful enough to pay to solve within that target audience. There needs to be overlap there. And you need to be able to develop a solution that's going to solve the problem in a meaningful and real way. So that's how you need to dial in that target audience. It's not just choose a group of people and la-di-da, you have a niche. No, you need to actually know the demographic, who they are, who the person is that you're serving. You need to have the ear of one person, essentially, and work from the inside out. You need to know the problem. It needs to be a painful problem, and what they need and how you're going to solve it. And it needs to be a solution that's actually going to solve it. Web designers get this wrong all the time, because they think that the solution, they think that, okay, the target audience is, and I don't mean to bash on web designers. I'm a web designer myself, so I feel like I have authority and I'm allowed to do this. And it's only because I want better for you. You say the target audience is people who need websites. Okay. Not a good idea, but let's move forward. What's their problem? They don't have websites. Okay. And what's the solution? I build websites. It's just like, of course that's not going to work. And then I get questions all the time. Why doesn't my web design business work? I'm like, what's your target audience? People who need websites. Okay. What's the problem? They don't have websites, or they're bad websites, and I think that they should be better. Okay. And what's your solution? I build websites that are better. I'm like, okay. Sorry, that's not going to work. Okay. Whereas people who come in and they have a very specific audience, and you go, oh, wow, I never even knew that was a group of people. Okay, cool. But what's their problem? Whoa, I didn't know they experienced that. Or you were part of that issue. So I was talking to a person here earlier in the community. I won't say his name or any specifics because I did ask him for permission to use this story. So I'm going to make it more generic because I don't think he responded yet. Anyway, he was building a home and wanted contractors needed to help him out. I love using the contractors metaphor, like building fences and stuff, but this was a perfect real world example. He was spending money getting people to build his home, fences, landscaping, all the whole thing, everything you need from building a house from scratch. And he saw so many issues in the management of their business, in the marketing, in the communication, in the management, in the running of the business. These guys, they did their work well, but everything else around it sucked. And so he identified that and saw how this guy was missing out on a lot of money. This person left a lot of money on the table. This person missed out on this, and how all of it was poorly run. And then he said, they need this, and they don't even know they need this. And so he can communicate to them what they're missing out on, how this is affecting other people, not just himself. So he was in that as a customer going, this sucks and it needs to be better. I'm going to make it better. So he found an audience. So home builders, contractors, landscapers, people in that kind of home building industry. The problem was what the consumer was experiencing. They didn't even know as contractors what the problem was because they're just doing their job. They're probably like, I wish I had more money, or I wish I had more revenue, or some people lined up in the pipeline. I'm a little stressed with this and I hate doing phone calls. Maybe they have the symptoms of the problem. They don't even really recognize it themselves. They're in denial. But as a consumer, as the person buying those services from these people, he went, all of this is wrong. All of this is bad. You could be doing better. You could be doing better. You could be serving your customers better. You'll be happier because you'll be making way more money, and your business will be way more smooth. And I will be happy. And people who are buying your things will be way happier because things are efficient. Communication is clear. Stuff's getting done. Stuff's getting paid on time. I don't have to pay in cash. I could pay with Visa or whatever. So he identified that. And then you can develop a solution. Okay. So that's target audience. You need to know who you're serving, what the problem is, and how you're going to solve the problem. And you need to be able to dial those things in. So now moving on to the next topic here, the minimum viable solution. So now that we've addressed that target audience, getting hot in here now, we need to know, okay, what's that solution? So we need to take it further. How are we going to solve that problem? And now we're going to talk about why creating a minimum viable solution is going to help you validate your business idea. So you might think, the problem that I said at the top of this session was people get inspired, they get bitten by the entrepreneurial bug, and they go, I want to start a business. I love this. I'm going to start it up. They put the sign on the door and their business fails. And now they're in debt and they are hurting and they're sad and they don't want to ever do that again. Sucks because now they're robbing the world of their value because they made a mistake that they could have avoided by doing a minimum viable service. And the minimum viable solution, is how you're going to validate if your idea is good. So you can validate your target audience, find out if that's a real group of people, what is their actual problem, okay? Get that figured out. Find out how valuable the solution would be, developed to deliver to them. Hypothesize that. You can validate that by talking to real people. Now, when it comes to minimum viable solution, we need to first identify what is a minimum viable solution. So minimum viable solutions, or MVS, does not mean, I'm going to get this right out of the gate, does not mean minimum value solution. It's minimum viable solution, not minimum value solution. I get people saying, why would I offer a minimum viable solution and just give them like a crappy bare bones service? No, it's not your ticket to create crap in a minimum crappy way, not minimum value solution. On the contrary, you should aim to add maximum value. By minimum, we are implying that the solution is lean and can be pitched, delivered, and solve the problem effective immediately, not after you've set up your LLC, created a grand business plan, designed a beautiful website and attended networking parties and got some venture capital backing and all this sort of stuff. Those are excuses. Those are going to get in the way. Those things come as a result of your MVS working. So what is the minimum viable solution? I want to give you a couple examples right now. So Airbnb. Do we all know what Airbnb is? Okay, I'm assuming yes. I just recently was at an Airbnb. we're looking to book another. We use Airbnb all the time. It's where people rent their homes, spaces, cottages, tree houses, RVs, whatever, with this place where you could just open up the app, choose the thing, book a spot. It's like it made the hotel industry panic. It's huge. It's disruptive. But do you think Airbnb started as what we know Airbnb to be? No. Now, if you don't know the story of Airbnb, I'm going to show you a little chart I just snatched off of Google, how Airbnb started. So check this out. Airbnb started 3 guys from renting an air mattress to a $10 billion company. So Joe, Brian, they're in San Francisco, can't pay rent. So they think, okay, let's rent out 3 air mattresses on the floor and serve breakfast. So they made a website, a really simple website, a blog. So just like a generic WordPress theme blog with maps to their location, and called it airbedandbreakfast.com. 2 men and 1 woman showed up, paying $80 per air mattress. After the guests left, they thought this could be a big idea. So here we go. Minimum viable solution. Their problem was their own problem. They can't pay rent and they need some cash. So let's rent out. They solved their own problem first. But then after this happened, they validated it by going, whoa, people actually did that. They wanted that experience. Okay, well, let's do something about it. So they invited a roommate. They found out, and I'll take it from here. I won't show you all the rest here. But South by Southwest was coming up. Huge tech conference. And they thought, what if we used South by Southwest as a way to rent out spaces, and other people can rent out their spaces, and then we could take money and all this sort of stuff. So they started Airbnb from what they have it to be now. Their minimum viable solution was people needed a place to stay during this South by Southwest event. There was not enough hotels and motels and places in the area. They thought, well, let's solve the problem. Let's rent out people's living rooms with airbeds and couches, serve them breakfast, give them a tour of the town, the city, the community, give them the local special. And then long story short, Airbnb is what it is today. So that's Airbnb. Here's another quick example. Who knows this one? So that's Steve Jobs in front of the garage in which he and Steve Wozniak started Apple. So Apple, as we know it today, there's a big old Apple computer right here, thing here. Most everybody's got one of those devices. And if they don't have one of these devices and they hate on these devices, it's because Apple is who they are, that you have the privilege to hate on these devices and choose other devices because they've disrupted and pioneered an industry that now we have choices to do other products and services and other computers and tablets and devices. It's because of Apple and Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak in Silicon Valley or wherever in a garage building a little computer and going, we could do better than what is being offered, and let's start small. And so they started small, minimum viable solution. They didn't just start Apple, a multi-billion-dollar company. They didn't just start Airbnb, any of the things that we know. So we can take lessons from Airbnb, Apple, any of these large companies, Amazon. We can take lessons. They didn't just start the huge company. They tested the waters, sold some stuff. They got some failures under their belt, iterated, improved, and grew as they learned what the heck they were really doing, what the heck people really wanted. Okay, we can learn from these huge success stories and apply the exact same technique in our small business. Start small, start lean, add maximum value in a minimum viable solution, move quickly and learn as you grow, learn as you go and learn as you grow, and start with a minimum viable solution. So, so that's an MVS. Now, there's a couple comments here I want to address. Alea says, I can't tell how many people I see in communities that say, hey, I just spent money creating this product. How can I find people to sell to? Yeah. So you need to know who you're selling to. This is Seth Godin. He says in his book, This is Marketing. He says, you need to find a lock. and develop a key to unlock it. Not develop a key and then find a lock to stick it into. The metaphor here, as applied to the real world, is don't just develop your fancy product or service or website and then go around hunting for people who are going to buy it. No, find the people who are hurting and then develop the way for them out. Give them the path out. Build the bridge for them. Build the next step for them. Build the solution to their pain. So it is not a minimum value solution. It is a minimum viable solution. It means you can act quickly. And then if nobody buys it, it doesn't mean now you're out hundreds of thousands of dollars or tens of thousands of dollars. You made a bad idea. You quit your job. You lost your job. You put strain on your marriage or anything like that. No, you get to act quickly. You go, here's my minimum viable solution. Hey, I hear you guys have this problem. Here's a solution to it. Do you want to buy it? Check. Thank you. Service delivered. Great. Do that 2 or 3 more times. Now you have a valid solution. You're validated, my friend, and you have permission to move forward and start to grow. If you say, hey, person, I hear you struggle with this problem. No, I don't. Oh, okay. What is the problem you struggle with? It's this. Oh, okay. What about this? Does this solve your problem? Nope, it doesn't. No thanks. Go away. Great. Move on. Move around. Pivot. Switch. Move around. Switch it around. You get to iterate and improve. No, don't sweat off your back other than like 3 days of thinking and sending an email, writing a quick letter. You don't need to do any of the fancy stuff. This is you creating a lean solution that you don't need business cards and websites and marketing and branding and advertising spend. No, you just literally need a person who's struggling and you can tell them to their face, you're struggling with this. I have the solution. Do you want to buy it? In more or less words. And if they say yes, and you get validated with cash, you deliver the solution, do it again, do it again, do it again, grow the network, encourage the referrals, start to collect feedback. Then you start to see, this really works. Okay? That's how it validates. That's how it validates your business. So if you can sell to 3 people, that means you can sell to 30 people. If you can't even sell to 1 person, you're not going to be able to sell to 100 people. Does that make sense? I like to use that 3 client rule, 3 customer rule. You identify the target audience, you develop a minimum viable solution, which literally means an idea in your head in response to the problem that the target audience is having, and you communicate it in a text message, on Facebook, in an email, over a chat, over coffee. I hear you struggle with this. I'd like to help you with that. I think I can help you with that. This is what I'm going to do for you. Are you interested? Yes? Okay. Collect the check. Do that 3 times, then you can do that 30 times. And even better moving forward, because now you can learn. Once you've directly solved the problem for 1, 2, and 3 people, you can begin to see the patterns in your service delivery, the client's behavior, their questions. Your service begins to take shape, and you're able to learn which parts of it need to be improved, which pieces are more valuable than the other parts. Maybe you thought this was a great feature and benefit, but really it's this over here. So scrap that and go bigger with this. Where you could learn where you can improve. You start to collect feedback from actual paying customers and you iterate and improve the solution. The MVS lays the foundation for your high impact, high value service. Just as Airbnb started with a literal air mattress with a couple broke college kids, and it's now a multi-billion-dollar company. Just as Apple started in a humble garage with 2, total weirdos creating something that's changed the world. Not saying we need to go off and try and create multi-billion-dollar change the world companies. I'm actually a big fan of small businesses who have very small relative impact on the world, but on the people on the ground, in your community, in your family, in your town, in your city. That's where you have impact, because that's where change happens. That's where value is added on that micro scale, where we can help real people who have real problems and give them real solutions. I like that, because you don't need to make billions of dollars to be happy. That sounds like a big pain in the butt, in my opinion. And if that's your style, cool. But for most of us, if we could just get away from like our salaried job that takes our time and our independence and requires us to build somebody else's business, and if we can switch that and solve problems for people that we care about and get paid in a meaningful way that we can provide for our families, invest, be charitable, help our communities, help our people, and do something that we like doing and get paid for it, that's amazing. That's great. And that doesn't happen by you trying to just start with this multi-billion-dollar idea or whatever. You have to start with one person. If you can sell to one person, try selling to 3. If you can sell to 3, you can sell to 30. Okay? If you can't sell to one person, you can't sell it to anyone. Okay? So that is the second topic there, your MVS. Some comments here. Let's see. Robin says, oh, you guys are having a little chat. I'll go up a little bit. Alea says, if you have a touch anything, you can't hate on Apple. That's true. Robin says, when we listen to the customer requirements, even the simple projects are demanded in frameworks that makes their project slow. But as a developer, I think we should take smart steps to solve a problem. Bailey says, I'm meeting with a client tomorrow, offering a simple website that they need. The upsell would be managing the site and possibly email marketing. Yeah. Remember that what you're trying to do is establish an ongoing relationship with your customers. You don't want to just give them a solution and fall off the face of the planet. Nothing is ever done, especially when it comes to technology and marketing. You don't just hand them a product and that's it and it's done. It's finished. It's never finished because things change, security standards change, ideas grow, techniques come into play. At one point somebody thought advertising in the yellow pages was the most valuable, and then all of a sudden digital advertising became more valuable. But then all of a sudden people like yellow pages and doing traditional advertising again. It's always changing, adapting, evolving. And so if you just say, I'll build your website, collect $500 and walk away, then that's not going to be sustainable for you. You want to establish a relationship, and that $500 first project, that $1,000 first project is just your way into the door to an ongoing relationship to that customer for the life of your business. And so, yeah, you want to be able to ongoing help them, but you need to communicate to them why that's valuable versus, can I have more money from you every single month for a long time? No, that's not the way to go about it. It's, how can I continue to help your business grow? And this is the investment that it takes for that to happen. Bailey says, yeah, my goal is not just to leave a website and walk away. Website was my focus because I heard they don't like the current person. They are too slow. Totally fair. Alea says, there are clients who will say, I need a website, and there will be developers who will say, oh, I can help you with that, instead of inquiring the reason for the website. I see that all the time. Because I'm in the designer developer community, you see someone who goes, does anyone know of someone who who can build a website? And then you see this fury of stampeders saying, I can build a website. No, I can do it. No, I can do it. No, me. I could do it for $500. Well, I could do it for $200. Well, I could do it for free. Well, I could pay you to do it. And you see this pathetic, panicked, stampeding group of people trying to serve themselves. Whereas the person who goes, well, why do you think you need a website? Maybe it's not even a website that you need. What is it that's the problem? Let's have a chat and figure out what it is that you're actually looking for. Or better yet, here's exactly how to solve the problem for yourself right now without anybody, myself included. I'm going to give you all the steps, all the things right here in public for everyone to see. You don't even need to pay anyone to do it. Take care of it yourself. And then that person sees the value that you added, that you actually cared about solving their problem, not caring about lining your own pocket with a measly amount of money. And then they will want to continue a relationship with you versus the person or the 30 other people who go, no, give me your money and I will build the website, implying that the website is the problem. It's not. It's never the website. Brandy says, Alea I can't tell you how many clients are disappointed because their website did not get the desired results because they did not articulate the actual need clearly. Yes, it's your job to also tease out of the client, why do they need the website? They think they need a website, but it's your job to actually get to the bottom of finding out why they think they need a website. What do they actually need? A website is never what they need. It's just a means to an end. It's not like this phone. Let's just say it's just a telephone. Never mind all its other capabilities. Do I need this? No, I never did need this. Even Apple or whatever telephone company produced this product, or a product like that was a telephone, you never needed the telephone. You needed to talk to somebody. This was the means to an end. This was the way that I could communicate with another person. I never needed this. I needed to be able to talk to somebody. This was the way that enabled me to do that in an easy way. It's not the website. Nobody needs a website. Nobody needs your graphic design. Nobody needs your coaching. Nobody needs your financial advice. Nobody needs any of your services. Okay, that's the honest truth. Here's the good news. What they need is what your services, solutions, products get them. You are the means to an end. You are the facilitator of their success. So you need to be able to identify their problem and do what you can as an entrepreneur to get them there from point A to point B. Shaka, right? Brandy says, if I can add to a client says their website doesn't work. They need a new one when the real problem is that they need more leads and clients. The website is great, but they need a lead magnet or a funnel. Yes. You can have beautiful websites that serve absolutely no purpose. You can have really bad websites that are actually well done in their purpose and actually create value. So it's not about the beauty of the website or any of that. Nobody needs it. Okay, so now moving on into point 3, the triple threat technique. This is kind of more of a what next. We're not going to go deep into the triple threat technique because it's a huge topic in and of itself. We have some office hours live content. Feel free to search that if you're not yet a student of launch. If you're a student of the launch course at freelancingfreedom.com, we have content on the triple threat technique. We have interactive workbooks on developing your triple threat model. And so we're not going to go deep into triple threat because it's a huge topic that is not going to be done justice in 5 minutes. But it's a next step. The triple threat is your next step from your MVS. So you have your MVS. You obviously can't build a business on an MVS. You can't stay that way, rather. That's your starting point. The MVS begins to grow, establish, and then now you have a full-on service that's like doing well. You're getting consistent leads. You got a good strategy in place. You got your bread and butter. It's working. But you have to grow. And what about the customers who can no longer afford your flagship service? Let's say your MVS started out at $500. You work directly with a person, and now it's you realize that it's valued at $5,000. Not uncommon, actually very encouraged. I started out, my first website was $595. I went on to start charging similar websites, obviously way better and more valuable, with more experience and background on my part, to websites that were anywhere from $7,000 to $15,000 to $30,000. Not much different involved on my part other than just more effective websites and more experience. So your flagship service turns into something big, valuable, expensive. Not everybody can afford it. So does that mean that you can only serve that sliver of customers now? Sure, you can, but it means you're still trading your time for money. You're doing one-to-one service. It's very customized. And now that you're bigger and more valuable, what you do, you really need to pay attention to. You can't just kind of do a throwaway project. It needs to require your attention, dedication, time, and effort. So that means you need to say no to everything else, which is going to create this mountain and valley cycle in your business. And it's going to get really strenuous, and you're going to want to quit that, even if you're making good money with a project. So you need something more consistent. You need to have a triple threat technique in place. I call it the triple threat technique because I come from a musical theater background, and triple threat performers were the most valuable. Those are people who could sing, dance, and act. People like Hugh Jackman, Wolverine, He is a singer, a dancer, and an actor, and he's doing very well. Jamie Foxx, triple threat, singer, dancer, actor. He is crushing it. People who are just actors, that's nice, but what if we need you to do this other thing? You're more interesting if you're like this. You're more valuable to the industry if you're like this. So I come from that background, so I liked the idea of the triple threat technique, and so I employ it in my business, and I encourage you to employ it in your business. The triple threat technique means you have essentially 3 offers to your market. So you have your flagship offer, which started as your MVS. Now it's something that is your bread and butter. This is the thing that you do. High value one-to-one consulting in the human resources industry, or high value marketing strategy and planning for law firms. You do digital marketing for home builders. Whatever your bread and butter is, that high value one-to-one solution, that's very expensive. Started as your MVS, validated your business. Now it's big. You need 2 other supporting offers. So ideally a retainer or a subscription model, something that provides income month to month, because you're going to have expenses month to month. Those never go away. And you need something to keep that bridge going across. You need something that keeps things normalized and consistent, so you can count on money coming in every single month, despite whether you have a big project coming down the pipe or not. You need consistent income that pays the bills. Okay, so your revenue that comes from the retainer or subscription is going to take care of that. That's what I like to use as a rule of thumb. So let's say you get a project, a client from that flagship offer. Prime opportunity to say, let's maintain our relationship. I'm going to keep this investment that we did protected. I'm going to keep you in the loop. I'm going to make sure that it's on the ball, it's working, it's growing. It's not going to stay stagnant and get dusty. I'm going to take care of this and grow your investment. That's what the retainer is. Whether it's security plans for web developers and their WordPress websites, whether it's like human resources consultant or financial services advisor, every month making sure that your plan is in place, that everything is working, training new employees, rejigging and structuring your investments, providing reports, content. They're the ones who are the expert in the field, so they can, add value every month in a newsletter. So you got your monthly recurring income as one supporting offer in addition to your flagship offer. And then your third offer is a one-to-many product that can be sold, pitched and delivered. That can be sold and delivered on autopilot without you needing to be present for the transaction or the service delivery to take place. So that could be an online course, a workshop that's pre-recorded, a series of videos. It could be a book. It could be a widget, software, app, game. It could be templates. It could be, a number of different things. So it's not just for online courses. Online courses are a means to an end. Online courses will eventually no longer be, the big thing, and it will go back to actual in-person classes or something like that. Online courses are just a means to an end. At one point, 100 years ago, they used to have people who provided their value in one-to-many fashion in a classroom. They rented out a hall. They rented out a chamber of commerce office and said, $100 a pop. We have 50 people who can fill the room, and I'm going to teach you on this topic. We're going to do three lessons on that. And after that, I'm going to pitch you my book, and then you can work with me one-to-one to help you directly in your business. My fee is $15,000. So this model has been around for all of business. Anyone who has a entrepreneurial knack. So you need that one-to-many product. So let's use online course as an example, because it's a very great way of delivering that nowadays. You have a value that you learned from your minimum viable solution and now your flagship offer, the patterns in there that can solve the problem for the people who can't afford the flagship service. So your course, your one-to-many product, is not your very expensive offer. So for example, Launch is a great example of my one-to-many product. So you can work with me directly, and I will give you this advice that you learn in the course directly to your business with everything tied to you. We'll work together, but I'll charge you probably $2,000 a month for the duration of our relationship. And that's a really good deal. Considering you get my time, we get regular check-ins, and I will help hold your hand through your unique situation. And it means that I'm not paying attention to anyone else. Or you can buy a $500 course that gives you the same value with a community that you can take on your own time, your own convenience, exclusive of me, but you still get my mind and my strategies, my techniques, and my teaching, and my community that I built for $500. So it's not a high ticket offer. It can be, but usually it's something that people who can't afford your flagship offering can buy your intro product, your digital product, your course, your workshop, your book. It serves a broader market so that they can see your value and then from there be funneled into your flagship service or possibly a retainer. Or they can ultimately be a source of referrals for your business. So your triple threat model is your flagship offer, a recurring income source, and your passive product, your one-to-many product that you put the work in once, you package it up, and now it's available to take 24/7 to pitch and deliver 24/7 to one person, 100 people, 1,000 people, 1,000,000 people. It doesn't matter. It serves. It doesn't devalue in service the more people are there. So one person could be taking it, or 1,000 people could be taking it at any given time, and it serves the same value. It doesn't take any more out of you. So that is what is next after that. Couple more comments here. Bailey says, sorry, you guys are having a chat. Robin says, I gave several interviews before entering freelancing. I found an interesting point was that some created projects but unable to update. Should we ask extra with reliable maintenance? Bailey says, I'd say definitely charge more for website maintenance and for training on how to update their own. Monique says, definitely charge more for website maintenance. Time is money. Yes, you need to charge for website maintenance, and it should be valuable, and it should be tied to the value, not to your time. So you need to anchor it to the value of what you're offering, not to, I'm $50 an hour, so I'll give you $45 an hour for 3 hours a month. Your client will ultimately say, I just want your discounted rate on demand because now you can be cheaper apparently, so I'll take that instead. Whereas if you add value on a regular monthly basis and they see that value and it's helping maintain their original investment or growing their original investment, then you can charge anchored on value. Bailey says, Brad, you have great lighting in there, natural or artificial. Actually, both. I'm curious actually to see. I'm going to turn off the artificial lighting to see how much of an effect it has. Hold up. Artificial lighting is off. Artificial lighting is on. I have two awesome windows that act as soft boxes. So a window here for some backlighting and a window right here, the same size, that gives me nice lighting. I have a white desk, reflects light up, a white room, and a light, a nice studio light right here with a soft box on it. Anyway, a little behind the scenes. Yeah, it is good without it too. I love it for filming. It's a nice view. Jealous of those windows. It really helps. I'm in a basement, so having nice windows makes you feel like you're not in a basement. Hey mom, how's it going? Good to see you. Okay, so with that said, because we're rounding off the hour here, I want to give you a couple little action items. So I'm going to share my screen. We have a couple minutes. I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but I'll share my screen here. Okay, cool. We see that? You can see the URL there. You're free to go there at any point. freelancingfreedom.com/p/niche-calculator. Type that in. You're going to be taken to the same page. It's right from our website, right from freelancingfreedom.com, the launch course. It's our niche viability calculator. This is going to help you with that first point, your target audience, and the viability of your niche itself. So this is just a tool. It's just a guideline, provides simple advice on whether or not you have a viable niche business idea, specifically target audience. No tool can truly determine how well you will or will not do in business. By agreeing to use the tool, you agree not to hold me accountable for any bad decisions you may make. Sounds good? Get started. Cool. So I'll run through this really quickly, see if I can blast through it to give you a little demo of it. Which country will you be doing business? I created a little interactive form here that calculates the country that you're in based on what Forbes says are the 20 best countries for business. So take this however you wish. Depending on your country, it may or may not be harder or easier to do business. Okay. Based on Forbes, they're saying, I've assigned values. So the number, the best, most valuable country, according to Forbes, will get assigned 20, and then 19, 18, 17, 16, all the way through to 1. So it's just kind of how I built that. So again, it's not like a hard and fast rule. It's just a guideline. I kind of made it up myself. So Canada. What's your ideal target audience? So again, I'm not going to go through all of this in a very specific way because it'll take too long. This is your job. So let's just say ideal target audience. Let's say realtors in Vancouver. So how much business revenue do you think realtors in Vancouver generate each year? So it'd be nice to actually get these numbers for real. Google it, ask real people, ask friends. Maybe if you're in the industry, you know this. Estimating it is going to give you less accurate results, but I'm just going to estimate right now. So let's say realtors in Vancouver, if I was more specific, like high value realtors selling like those fancy downtown condos or like the West Vancouver estate homes that all the celebrities buy, maybe those people are making 500 to $1 million. Which category best represents the struggles realtors in Vancouver experience? Let's say that I've identified or talked to people and validated. My thought is that they struggle with business, sales, and marketing. So in that, what do they struggle most with within this category? So choose as many as you like. So let's say, websites, automation, search engine, and managing, hiring, and firing employees. How would you solve this problem for your target audience? What product or service would you offer? What would your end result look like? So I'm just going to say lorem ipsum just to get through it. How valuable do you think this solution would be for your target audience? I'm going to say 4. If you could completely solve your target audience's problem by next month, how much do you think they would pay for that solution? So this is minimum viable solution territory. So if you got on the phone with somebody and said, I've identified that this is the problem based on our conversations, based on me being in the industry myself, based on talking to some people at some conferences, seems like this is a common problem. Is that true? Oh, it is. Cool. How valuable is that to you? If I solved that problem for you completely within 30 days and got you X amount new leads per month, or increased your bottom line by 10%, or whatever it is. Let's say that they would pay $3,000 to $5,000 upfront. If you're hired this week to solve the problem for $3,000 to $5,000, how confident are you in taking care of it? So if you're not confident, then okay, you cannot deliver the solution. But if you're highly confident or somewhere in between, this is up to you. This will help you determine how valuable and viable this idea is. I'm going to say 8. Before we calculate your niche viability score, just have a couple last questions. What's your first name? Brad. Email brad@freelancingfreedom.com. This, my friends, is so that you can be emailed your results. Also, so that we can maintain communication. This is also what's called, my friends, a lead magnet. So for those of you who are interested in determining your niche and everything like that, you fill out the form, you get the value from it. You go, whoa, Brad, this is really cool. So I give you something in exchange for permission to communicate to you, which then puts you in my list, which then you get my emails, my newsletters, my free lessons, you get demos of the course, and ultimately you get pitched the proper product or service that will meet you where you are to solve your problem. So this is kind of behind the scenes of how this works too. How can we prove this tool? It's amazing, Brad. Thank you. So submit, and there we go. So you get right on the page your results. So this says estimate your niche viability score is 68 of a possible 135. So then here I have a little bit of a legend that lets you know where that stands. So 68 lands in the 40 to 80. So there's viability here. Perhaps you can solve a bigger problem for your niche. Now you could also go like, maybe your niche is not specific enough. maybe, maybe there are a number of other factors that you can tweak. Maybe your confidence in it, maybe the value of the solution, maybe the price of the solution isn't quite where it could be. So, that's how this is calculated. So it's not, like a hard and fast rule. It's a guideline, but it does help you understand if you're onto something so that you can take it and then move forward and actually validate it in the real world. So that for you, I think if you go learn more, it takes you to Freelancing Freedom, our workshop, which is actually a great segue. So I'm going to give you the link to that in a moment, but I'm going to give you one more thing here, one more call to action. Join the webinar. We have a free webinar. We have regular times that are available based on your schedule that you can join the webinar/workshop. And we're going to give you some free gifts as well. Those free gifts are the you're going to get a demo of the course. You're going to get a couple other tools and workshops thrown in, a number of things. We give you a whole bunch of really great stuff for free that helps you grow your business. All you got to do is go to freelancingfreedom.com/webinar, save a free spot. The webinar, fair warning, is 2 hours long. If that scares you away and you're not willing to invest 2 hours, then you're not willing to put the time, effort, and grit that your business needs. I spared no piece of value. This isn't fluff. It's not 2 hours of fluff. It's 2 hours of this should be something I should charge for. The reason why I can do that is because I know that not everyone's going to hang around for 2 hours, but those of you who do hang around for 2 hours understand the value and are looking for something bigger. You're craving something. You're my kind of person. Remember, people like us do things like this. And so people like us are willing to invest 2 hours of our incredibly valuable time. I don't take your time lightly because once you spend time, you never get it back. Once you spend money, you can get it back. Once you spend time, it never comes back. So I don't take that lightly. I have no interest in wasting your time. I don't like when people waste my time. I won't waste yours. So 2 hours, you can bet your bottom dollar is going to be worth at least your time and more. After that, what you learn, you take notes, you get a bunch of value from it. You can leave it at that and go off and see some success from you applying what you learned in the course, in the webinar. Obviously, at the end of that, I offer you an opportunity to join Launch, our course that I talked about a number of times in this, I hinted at in this Office Hours Live. We have a number of students who are here, people signing up for the course every single week. And it's tremendous value in the webinar. The course itself is self-explanatory. I give you an opportunity to look at behind the scenes in the webinar itself. So freelancingfreedom.com/webinar and get started with that. Self-explanatory. If that's your thing, if you're ready to start a business and take what you've learned today to that next level and you actually want to start booking clients, you want to create a business that actually matters, a business that provides you with freedom and independence so you can provide for your family and live with purpose and serve real people with real solutions and really enjoy what you do and get paid for it. That's what this is all about. So check that out if you are ready to take this to the next level. A couple more questions/comments here in the live chat, and then we will wrap this whole thing up. All right. So Robin asks, Brad, are you a full stack developer or designer? I've seen you designing this stuff in most of your videos. I am like a weird hybrid. I don't call myself any of those things. I'm a designer. I'm a developer. I'm a builder. I'm a creator. I can design. I design everything that you see. I'm not the most amazing designer, but I am a designer. And I can code, as many of you know. I have one of the most popular Udemy channels about building websites. Front end stuff, I'm not interested in hardcore back end stuff. It's fun to play around with, but I don't, my work is solving other people's problems. So if that means building a website with an online store and providing a branding strategy, I've got the ability to either do it myself or the know-how as an entrepreneur to rally up the right team to do that. Also consulting and coaching, marketing expert, where I can help people like you guys start your own businesses, help you with what I know about marketing, entrepreneurship, online business, automation. I come from a background of, web development. So I have a tech background. I go really into the geeky details. I use that to my advantage in my courses as well by teaching people from that background. I'm also a creative. So, all that comes into play. So I wouldn't say I'm full stack or any of that. I just do whatever it is that I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a creator. I build things. So that's what I'm about. Full stack implies that I'm looking to get a job at like some startup who wants me to build their app and they need a full stack ninja with 1 million programming languages. I couldn't be less interested in that. So there's my answer to that. People who come to these office hours live are looking to start a business versus get a job as a developer. So that's kind of what it is. You say you have one last question. Shoot. Just because I'm going to wrap things up here and get some lunch. Also, my headache seems to have lifted. I think it was the Tylenol. Monique says, have a good rest of the day. Thanks, Brad. Off to a meeting. Monique, thank you for coming. Really appreciate it. Lori, see you later as well. Thanks for coming. Just waiting a few seconds here for Robin's question. We do have a delay in the live stream, so I will give a little bit of a buffer there for that. And while you're waiting to wrap this up, I want you guys to check out this webinar right here, freelancingfreedom.com/webinar. And I am going to, let's see here. I'm going to play a little, actually I have a little end screen where I'm going to give you the resources we talked about today. So the webinar and the niche calculator. So, all right, folks, I think we're going to leave it at that. Thank you for coming, everybody. Really appreciate it. I hope you have an amazing week, amazing weekend. I hope this was valuable to you. If it was, and you're not yet a student of ours at freelancingfreedom.com, get started with the webinar. Do your own due diligence to see if we are a fit for each other. We may not be, and that's okay. But if you're ready to take the next step, this is a really low risk way of doing it. All you need is a couple hours of your time, a notebook, and you invest some time, your email address. This is your next step. If you're ready to take that next step, check this out. From there, we can do our best to see if you're ready to take the next step in the course or something else. All right, folks. Really appreciate it. Thank you for being here. Cheers. God bless. And I'll leave you with this end screen here. Bye. Hey, man. Good to see you.